It is the most powerful force in our lives.
I think it's so powerful that it can not only shape and guide the actions of an individual, but it can shape and guide the actions of a nation.
It is pleasure. And it has the power to enrich our lives or destroy them.
It was devastating to my kids, it was devastating to my husband, and at the end it was devastating to me. I mean, I was killing myself.
The quest to understand that power is pushing the frontiers of science. The risks are high, but so are the rewards.
I think each and every one of us has our own personal journey with this thing you call the pleasure urge. Every one of us has to make personal decisions about what kind of prices we're going to pay.
There's nothing like going into a turn at 220, 230 miles an hour. It's amazing. And you're running 3 inches away from the car right beside you tire width. I mean, there's nothing like it.
Indy driver Jimmy Kite is harnessing the ultimate power of pleasure.
It's something that I don't think any drug or anything out there could give you.
For Jimmy and his Royal Purple team, controlling that feeling is the key to success. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi has been studying that feeling all his life.
It is the state of mind or state of consciousness that people report when what they're doing is so involving. It takes so much attention and concentration from them that they forget everything else.
Professor Csikszentmihalyi says that state of mind is the ultimate pleasure. But the ultimate pleasure carries ultimate risk. For some, that moment can be overwhelming.
It was tremendous. As soon as I'd see those lights in the casinos at night, I've never found anything like it. It was like a euphoria, like a Disneyland. I can't even explain it.
Karen found her ultimate pleasure under the bright lights of Las Vegas.
I mean, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. But I couldn't control it.
The same power that gave Jimmy a perfect lap time threatened to destroy her family.
I left my son, he was on a street corner once. He had a dentist appointment. And I said, "I'll be here, don't move." And his father went looking for him at, I don't even know what time it was at night when he got home and I wasn't home. He says, "Where have you been?" And for the first time, I was honest and said, "I can't stop gambling." And he says, "Well, I hate to make Christmas miserable for you, me, and the kids, but if you don't get some help, you're not going to be here for Christmas."
Winner, 7 frontline winner.
The potential for destruction or success lies within us all.
Pay them all, pay them all.
To understand which way we may be drawn by the power of pleasure, we have to go on a journey. The destination might not be a place, but a state of mind. It's a journey into the innermost workings of the human brain. A journey that is only now made possible by stunning advances in medical science. For the first time, we can take snapshots of pleasure at work in our brain. Using a sensitive magnetic resonance imaging scanner, Dr. Hans Breiter from Massachusetts General Hospital can show the network of nerve cells that bring us pleasure.
Right above the yellow bar that I've drawn, there's a region called the nucleus accumbens. This region has been implicated as what they would call a reward center, part of the reward circuitry of the brain.
This reward circuitry is triggered from our inner primitive brain. The system evolved to guarantee our survival by providing a reward encouraging us to repeat beneficial behavior like eating, drinking, or having sex. Our reward is a flood of a brain chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is one of 60 chemicals called neurotransmitters, which communicate signals across the narrow gaps or synapses between nerve cells in the brain. For Karen, gambling triggered that flow. The feeling was so good, she wanted to do it again and again.
I went to Vegas, I played bingo, I went to the racetrack, I gambled on anything and everything I could.
But the simple flow of dopamine was only the start of Karen's problems. Dr. Hans Breiter believes that the experience of pleasure is much more complex and far-reaching.
Yes, dopamine is very important for the experience of pleasure, but dopamine itself seems to have broader functions.
Dr. Breiter has shown that the simple dopamine reward system triggers a complex cascade of chemicals throughout the brain, affecting regions that control consciousness, personality, and memory.
We saw approximately 90 regions of the brain light up. They turn on, and then most of them turn off, almost in time synchrony to the feelings of euphoria.
Every pleasure is the result of the primitive brain triggering a complex chemical flow.
It's a rush. It's an emotional, neurological rush.
Ski instructor Will was drawn by the pleasures of Lake Tahoe. But it wasn't the snow that lured him here. It was the prospect of falling in love.
I mean, there's a temporary jump in your nervous system that just feels so good.
That excitement associated with love is a natural reward for finding a mate and involves a variety of neurochemicals. The sight of a loved one releases a stimulant called adrenaline, making the heart beat faster. Touch produces oxytocin, a chemical which encourages us to bond. The feeling of romance comes from a special chemical called phenylethylamine, or PEA. Together, these chemicals can be overwhelming